A prisoner suddenly discovered that the floor of the train transporting POWs was incredibly fragile. Without hesitation, he called the others to help tear up the metal plate covering the floor. But the loud cracking noise immediately alerted the German guards on top of the carriage, making those inside freeze in fear. One of them suggested waiting until the train passed over a switch track, so the noise from the rails could cover up the sound of prying the floor. The guards above were vaguely suspicious, but didn't see anything unusual. Thanks to the group's determined effort, they soon pried open a large hole in the floor. However, the train was moving way too fast for them to jump out safely, so they had to wait for the right moment. Meanwhile, they stayed busy, with one tying up ropes in preparation. They had to think about how to quickly take down the guards once they made it out. Soon, the train began to slow down. As the speed dropped, Mark was the first to crawl out through the hole. He grabbed the edge of the floor, slid along for a short distance, and then let go, landing safely. Following his lead, two other companions also managed to escape from the train and slipped out from the track when the time was right. They quietly made their way to the last carriage and climbed onto the roof. Each car had a German guard stationed on top, but as long as nothing unusual happened, the guards rarely turned around. Mark crept carefully forward on the roof and suddenly ambushed the guard from behind, choking him with a rope until he passed out. He then quickly took the guard's position and gear. Mark waved at Rex, signaling him to move forward, but just then, the train began to slow again, forcing Rex to retreat. As the train came to a full stop, the guards disembarked for a break. Mark also climbed down to avoid suspicion. Thanks to the cover of darkness, no one recognized him. At the same time, Rex struck again, silently taking out another German guard. Since all the guards were now inside, facing the platform and taking a break, Mark acted quickly. He ordered another comrade to go to the back and open the POW carriage, freeing everyone inside. This way, they have more allies. The free prisoners climbed onto the roof in pairs and jumped down to launch a surprise attack on the unsuspecting guard. Caught completely off guard, the German soldiers didn't stand a chance. In no time, the prisoners had taken control of the train, but before they could escape, another train approached from behind. To avoid raising suspicion, the prisoners hid inside the carriages and forced the German conductor to restart the train and keep moving forward. During an interrogation, they learned from a German officer that there were 5 stations along the route. At each one, a German officer had to personally get off the train to collect a travel pass. As the next station approached, Mark decided to have the priest, who spoke fluent German, disguise himself as an officer to retrieve the pass. Soon, the train pulled into the station. The priest, accompanied by 2 guards, walked confidently toward the train, ordering German soldiers to distribute food to the POW. He then headed to the control room to collect the pass, but the station officer asked to see his ID. The priest hadn't expected this checkpoint. Just as the plan was about to fall apart, he noticed the officer's disheveled uniform and suddenly exploded in anger, scolding him for violating dress code regulation. Intimidated by the priest's commanding tone, the officer backed down and respectfully handed over the pass.